What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe Rating Climb. We're 1926. I'm going to play e4. I'm going to attack the pawn in the center and force black to defend it, probably with the knight. And we could play quite a few things here. I think the Halloween Gambit is still a very viable option at this rating level. Okay, that's not going to give us the opportunity. Halloween Gambit would be when you sacrifice here. Bishop to b4. I don't actually know if this is a main line or what this is, but I think knight d5 makes a lot of sense. And what I'm trying to do is centralize my knight, get it in a nice position, but also, yeah, gain a tempo and make black waste a move, okay? We've made them kind of move back, and now I think I'm going to play the move c3 to set up to play d4. I could also just develop this bishop, which also is probably a pretty good move. Actually, I'll start with the bishop because I want to castle quickly. So let's just go ahead and get the bishop out to c4, get ready to castle, and probably we can gambit this pawn. Let's think about this. If we castle and they take us, and we play, for example, rook e1, do we have a nice position? I think we do, because I think if black moves the knight, then they have to worry about this. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and castle. By the way, at the 1900 level, I feel like we see a lot of inconsistency, right? You see some people who play a fantastic game. It's like, wow, they just played like a 2200. And then you see people like, oh, no, they just played like a 1500. And so if you're stuck at it, this really is true for any level. If you're stuck somewhere, it might be that you just need to work on your consistency. And so that's just something I wanted to point out. Okay, I'm really thinking about d4 here. We could also go with d3 just to defend the pawn. Let's think about this. d4. I'm going to go d4. I'm going to be a little more aggressive here. Well, let's play d4. And my idea is if I can get my bishop to g5 and pin this knight before black is able to deal with that, they're going to have a problem, right? Because this bishop that normally could help defend has already been moved away. It's outside of the pawn chain. It can't come back and help the knight. So bishop g5 is really a big threat. Okay, so they're trying to counterattack and attack my knight. But I'm going to strike first. So bishop g5, if they take, we have a good move there. Yeah, maybe I will defend this. I mean, I don't think I really want to let them do that. So I'll probably just take my time here, play the move c3 just to support my center. And again, still kind of threatening bishop. Okay, now definitely going to go here. And why is this so good now? Because they've just castled, which means now when I trade here, I'm forcing them to open up their king. I don't think this is a good decision from black to castle. I think if they were smart, maybe they just wait a move or two and see what happens with this pin. But now that they've committed, this looks pretty dangerous for them. So let's think about how we can take advantage of this. Okay, so they're going to force the issue, and I think that's totally fine. I can probably just take with the knight, and when they recapture here, get a free pawn, honestly. So yeah, I think let's just go ahead and do that. I don't see they have to take back with the pawn. You don't want to lose your queen, but then you've undefended over here, and so already you can see how black's king is in trouble, right? They're going to have to save their rook now, rook e8, and let's see if we can take advantage of this even more. Wow, so they're just going to give up the rook for free. All right, well, I'm going to take it. I mean, that's a nice little trade there. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And black is making some very questionable decisions. Yes, you're going to get a couple of pawns, but you just lost a rook, and you're not even going to get the bishop. You're going to let me save my bishop. I can't believe that this is going to end well for black. I think we just save our bishop here. I mean, of course, a bishop is better than a pawn, so it doesn't really make sense to take that. We just save our bishop. It's basically trapped except for this square, so I think we just go back. Unless there's some more powerful move that I'm missing, but no, I think that's what we should do. So let's go back. And black does have a lot of pawns, but not worth a rook, right? Let's just slide the rook over. Okay. So we're up a rook, right? We've got the 3 pieces against the 3 pieces. We have the extra rook. Black has a few pawns. So trading pieces definitely is helpful to me. Also, if I'm able to get rid of this pawn, that's probably a good thing too. So I'm thinking about moves like queen b3, attacking, 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 attacking. In fact, maybe we even just sack, then go queen b3 and take the bishop. Now, the only issue there that I'm seeing is after the check, they go king here, we take this. We're actually going to lose our bishop. Yeah, and I don't really want to lose the bishop. So I think I will just go ahead and start with queen b3. Let's just scan. If they take here, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Queen b3 looks like a great move. Well, let's see how black's going to defend all these threats. Okay, now we actually have quite a few options here. Could grab this with check, but then we have another problem with our bishop. So I don't think I want to add a problem. We could take here, or we could take this one. This actually looks good. You know why? Because we're going to be able to slide our king over and actually use the g-file to attack black's king. So I think I will go ahead and do this, as long as I'm not getting in trouble with the queen or the knight coming and getting my king. But we're going to have time. And this is actually going to benefit us more than anything. So okay, I could grab that. I could chase this bishop if I want. But I think just the simple king h1 looks to be the most effective here, guys. Because once this rook comes over, black's king is in really big trouble. Okay, they're trying to get away, but yeah, I'm going to go f4. And the reason I'm going f4, yes, it attacks the bishop, but it does something else. Can you guys see what else it does? Well, hopefully you said opens up the queen. Okay, the pawn was blocking. By pushing it forward, I've opened up my queen. So look at this move. Queen h3. And now you can see the rook's coming to g1. Queen's on h3. Look at this. We're setting up a checkmate, right? Just a simple little, kind of like a ladder checkmate here, basically. And it's going to be very difficult for black to stop that. All right, so rook g1, move the bishop, checkmate. That's basically the plan. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this person is not playing like a strong 1900. I mean, they're just doing some kind of ridiculous stuff, giving us a rook for no reason. I mean, they're playing super fast. They're not even really thinking. So, total, just a lot of inconsistency at this level, I think. Let's go rook g1 just to set it up. And now we're basically threatening checkmate if we move this bishop, like, for example, here. Okay, so that's the threat. We've got the queen here. We've got the rook here. I don't know if black can stop that. I mean, even if they try to take with their knight, we would just take it. Checkmate. Yeah, they don't. They play some random move. And here we go with the checkmate. Okay, so that was pretty easy game, I think. Let's check the game review here. Turn on result there. Yeah, we played a nice game. So, but also I think our opponent made it pretty easy for us. I mean, they just made some questionable decisions. Starting with castling. If they just didn't castle, they're actually not doing bad here, I think. If they just play any other move. Stockfish says you could take. You can play h6. Move your bishop back. Anything is fine. So that was a bad decision. They weren't anticipating bishop g5. And then h6 and then allowing me to just take a free rook was a bad decision, right? You've got to save the rook. I mean, yes, your position is bad, but it only gets worse when you just sacrifice the rook like that, right? All right, let's go to the next game. Average Joe is 1934. We got white again. I'll play another e4 here. We have a Sicilian. So I'm going to maybe go for a Grand Prix setup. We'll see what they play. Okay, when the knight comes out to c6, I like to put the bishop there and attack it. And they could jump in. They decided to not do that here. We have a couple of ways to do this. F4 or knight f3, I think, are both pretty good moves here. Depends on what kind of setup you want to go for. So I think I'll just play knight f3, and I am threatening to push here. This would be a very annoying move for this knight. So they're playing a6. Let's think about this. Do we trade? Yeah, so generally speaking, when you bring this bishop out, the reason you want to trade is you don't want to waste time, right? I don't want to have to go all the way back here. That just seems like a waste of time. Of course, if I go here, that's the Noah's Ark trap. B5 and C4, my bishop is trapped, and I lose a bishop. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the knight there. They take back this way because they probably want to push. And I'm considering E5 just to be annoying to this knight. Now, that does have the square on D5. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll just castle. Let's just castle. I think that's the fastest we get the king out of the center, the best, because then we can play rook E1 right away. Okay, now maybe we can play E5. And the reason I say now is because they've created this hole. This is a weakness. So I want to try to take advantage of that. Now, how am I going to take advantage of that? Well, they're probably going to move here. And I think what I'm going to do is move here. Because my knight now can potentially jump in there. And if at any point... Oh, they go back. Interesting. Yeah, I think we still go knight e4. Because here's the thing. If they play d5, remember, we always have en passant. Okay, this is a situation where en passant is a very nice move. Because en passant cements black with double isolated pawns. And an isolated pawn over here, right? And there you go. You have to make sure you understand how en passant works. Because if you miss it, like if we don't play en passant here, black's position is amazing. We have to move our knight back. They get all this space in the center. We're in trouble. But if we en passant, look at this. This is bad. These are targets. These are weaknesses. And our position is great. Okay, so en passant, key move there. Now, do I want to get rid of this bishop or not is the question. Generally, I would say yes. I think I am going to take that. I don't have to. We could just leave the knight. I mean, the knight's not bad sitting there either. But yeah, I think I will. I mean, that's a pretty good-looking bishop for black, so I think it makes sense to take it. Okay. Generally speaking, when my opponent has pawns like this, if I can blockade them, so for example, b3 and d3, they are easy targets. So which of these moves should I start with is the question. I think d3 makes the most sense. Just because I'm definitely going to play that. I may or may not play b3. We'll see what happens. They're going to try to just castle, I think, which is fine. Yeah, and now is probably a good time to play b3. Okay, let's do it. Notice, this pawn is never going to be able to push unless you're just giving me a pawn for free, right? That's the only way. So now, these guys are clear targets for me, especially this c5 pawn. It's on a dark square. Bishop's not going to be able to do anything. I can very easily pile up something like this is the idea. I could also put the bishop on b2. I mean, that doesn't look bad either. That's a pretty nice looking diagonal. So this is actually not an easy decision for me on where to put the bishop. There's something to be said about attacking weak pawns. There's also something to be said about just amazing diagonals that just kind of control like the whole board. I mean, this is really good. Yeah, I'm not totally sure on this one, guys. Yeah. Okay, I think we should attack the pawn. But this looks really good too. But I'm going to go ahead and attack the pawn. And I think maybe we could play d4 next move and just take it, is one way. Another way would be something like queen d2 to c3 or a5. Even e3, just some way to attack it again. And if I need to, maybe even knight d2 to e4 to attack it again like this. Imagine if black defends, they have two pieces defending it. Let's say my queen is sitting here. I could relocate my knight, right? To just attack it a third time and probably win the pawn. And you'll notice, my pawns are beautiful, right? So you can really see the pawn structure difference and how it just makes my position so much better, right? So yeah, and also rook e1, I want to get my rook to the e-file at some point. It's just a question of what's the priority right now. And I really think picking off this pawn with a queen move next is the way to go here. So probably looking at queen d2. Unless black does something crazy, but, you know, they can't really do much. Okay? That doesn't really bother me. Let's see, queen d2. I mean, if they go here and bishop g4, that could be annoying. So maybe I should take the time to play rook e1 just to stop e5. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do that. So you want to look at where can they get counterplay, right? I think black could get counterplay if they push and get a nice pin going here. So I'm stopping that by playing rook e1. Now, I'm going to continue probably with my plan of attacking here. So actually, can I even just take it right away? I might even be able to just win this thing straight away. Yeah, I don't even have to waste time with the queen. We can just go here with a tempo. So that's not really what I was thinking when I played rook e1, but now I'm noticing that it is an option for me. So we're going to get this first pawn picked off. And, you know, black's bishop's really bad here. This is awful. It doesn't really have much that it can do. Yeah, and let's go ahead, grab it, and look at this amazing bishop now. Okay. This guy's awful. I don't really want to let them push this, so I kind of would like to get my pawn there. It takes 2 moves, though. I could also just start maybe with a queen e1. Why would I go to e1? Supports my rook, gets away from any potential tactics here, and gives me an option to win another pawn if they try to push that. Yeah, so queen e1 looks amazing. a4, a5 looks amazing. Let's start with queen e1, I think. Queen d2, though. Queen d2 is better. I can have more options with where my queen can go, and it also leaves a space for the rook. It's hard to say. It's actually hard to say. I'll go queen d2. I like the fact that it leaves a space for the rook. And there's really not a threat here. I mean, yes, you have to be careful, but okay. So they might be thinking about pushing this pawn now. So I can threaten with a4. They could push. Still think I'd like that position. Yeah, let's go ahead. Make sure everything's defended, right? This is good. Yeah, let's go a4. Because if we get a5 in, black's really in trouble. So they're probably going to play it. They don't. Okay, I actually didn't. I actually missed that move, but I don't think it's a big deal. We can just swing our rook over somewhere. Yeah, let's go. Okay, actually, there might be some tactics here, guys. Hold on a second. Rook h5, g6. Let's see. Queen h6 takes knight here. Knight f8. No, we take it. Yeah, we do have some tactics. All right, let's go rook h5. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second if we see g6. So this is a little tricky. I actually missed this move. I should have been paying a little bit more attention, to be honest with you. But the nice thing about our position is it's so good that even if you miss something, usually there's a way to save it. So here we go. I think we go queen h6. We threaten checkmate. They're going to take my rook most likely. We're going to play knight g5, threatening again to win the game. I think they're going to play... No, I don't know what they're going to play. Yeah, so that's a problem. You guys see the problem for them. Let's go queen h6. I want to go quickly while I still have some time on the clock. Problem is knight g5 is just too powerful. And I don't see a way for them to save this. Because knight f6, we just take. Knight f8, we just take. And black's pieces are just cut off. They can't help the king. Now, they don't have to take the rook, obviously, but if you play knight f6 to defend, the issue is... Okay, they are going to go for it. Yeah, so let's just see. I don't see how they're going to stop this. Maybe they want to sacrifice their knight, but it just still looks like a very good position for me. So notice what happened. Initially, we were focusing on this section of the board, the positional advantage. But in just a couple of moves, that totally changed. Now we're focusing on the weak king. And this is something, if you want to get to the next level, you really have to learn how to be flexible, right? Like you can't totally commit to, oh, is this... Yeah, I may have missed this. I thought this was checkmate. That's actually not checkmate. Ooh. That's not checkmate. Okay. Ooh. All right. We don't have this tactic because the knight. Check here. All right. I wonder if we can take this way. Ooh, I missed this, guys. I missed this. We might lose this game now. If I can figure out a way to salvage this. That's a great move. I missed this idea. They just take the bishop. Okay, we can take here. But they can go back. Yeah. They can just go back. Do I have any? Pretty slow trying to get our rook up and over. We can try that, though. So knight d7 stopping us from going here. Pretty much only move. Knight d7. Do I have time? I forgot that they could just take my bishop. I was counting on the bishop being there to because then queen h7 was checkmate. I forgot they could just take it and run with the king. Yeah, totally missed that. Yeah, now we're down a lot of pieces. I sacked the rook and lost the bishop, so that's not the only move. Knight d7, so they're gonna play that for sure. Check. If they take check. No, they're gonna get away. They're gonna get away. So which means I have to try to get the rook over and hope that I have time. The only thing that I see that I can do, actually, guys. Hold up. Could I play knight g5? Does that do anything? No, they just play knight f8. No. Okay. Yeah, we have to try this. So it takes a lot of moves. That's the problem. It is a pretty powerful threat, actually. This rook lands here. It's over for black. So they have to figure out how to get these pieces into the game quickly. And they do that is the question. If the pawn tries to stop me, I can always just take it. So that doesn't really do much for black. I don't know how else they stop this, though. This is... Okay, so they're attacking here, but this is going to come with a check, right? This is going to come with check. No, I think they just blundered this, right? Now we just swing it over. I'm going to start planning on sacking the queen. Actually might work. Yeah, we're going to have... Actually, we're going to have 3 pieces for our queen. It's still going to be good for black. Although the king placement is not good for them. Yeah, I think I'm going to take here. They're going to have to sack their queen. Then I take this way. They can't take me because it's pinned, right? So they're going to sack here. Only move. I take this way to give my king somewhere. Actually, I could take with the pawn and push Harry. Do we push Harry? Maybe I do push Harry. Okay, let's take this way, actually, because I want to keep my passed pawn here. Material-wise, black has plenty of material. Okay, yeah, they have the 2 rooks for the queen. They have the knight for the knight. And they have an extra bishop. The problem for black is these pieces are not positioned very well. Okay, but that's going to change quickly. So I'm going to go here, start to create some threats, and then get ready to push Harry. They have to deal with both of these first. 85, what happens there? Check there, check, we win a knight. There you go, that's a nice little tactic for you guys. So it's tricky to play against the queen, especially in a low time situation. Okay. So let's go here. Threatening the bishop. They're going to probably go back, but then we can grab another pawn. I think I'm going to play h4 now. Now might be a good time to do that. Let's see. Hold on. Is there something better? Check, check, check. No, let's go ahead and defend the knight. Now we can start thinking about checks with the queen. How about here? How about here and here? We might be able to use this pawn and then invade with the queen for a checkmate. We also have a lot of pawns. So even just kind of trading and going into an endgame if we happen to have an opportunity, but I don't think that's going to happen. Is there a checkmate here? Let's see. Check takes. Since I don't see it immediately, I'm going to just take my time and stop what black is trying to do while I keep thinking. H6 takes check. Also take here. Okay. Very interesting position. There's a check here. No, no, no. Here. Okay, this looks like a good move. Because you have to move king g8 to defend your rook. If you block, I take. If you block, I take with the check. So you have to go king g8. Now I can go here. Yes. Okay, so there's pieces just hanging everywhere, all right? It basically is what's happening. I could even take this one. I don't know if we need to do that. Let's just take this right now. Okay, 40 seconds. I have to move pretty quickly here, so let me try to pick up the pace just a bit. Check. We'll go for some safe pre-moves. I think it's pretty safe. We have lots of places to run, so we don't have to worry about the king. We just don't want to lose any of these pieces. And we want to make sure we don't lose on time. But black's running out of options, right? Queen d6, queen d8. That's a free bishop. We'll just take the bishop first. Okay, that's a free pawn. We'll just take all the pieces. It gets really... Oh, there was a fork I actually missed, but it doesn't really matter here. They take. We have a check. Okay, there you go. Sure, it's not stalemate. It's not. They have a pawn to move as well, so we know it's not stalemate. Okay, and I think the easiest thing, get another queen and just checkmate. That's generally what I like to do. Get the queen and just checkmate. Let's come in. It's not stalemate because there's a pawn, so I don't have to worry. Now, if there was no pawn, this would be stalemate, but there you go. They can move it. Let's go check. And let's see, where's the mate here? This one? All right. So interesting game. I think there's actually quite a bit to talk about here. So let's pull up the game review on this one. Okay, so yeah, we actually played pretty well. Brilliant move in there. But I did miss a few things. So first key point. Do not forget about en passant. Okay? Because watch the eval bar. If I don't en passant this pawn, I lose a significant portion of my advantage. Okay? You have to en passant to keep the pawn structure messed up for black. Okay? Yeah, Stockfish likes this setup. It doesn't like a4 because I missed this. So it would have liked to see this rook coming over, and in response to this, now it goes to rook h5. And actually, if you remember, you guys remember how the game played out? Where I ended up playing rook e1 anyway, and then trying to swing it up and over? Now, we almost have the exact same type of situation. So on g6, for example, queen h6 takes... There's knight g5, but there's also even immediately rook takes e6, which is apparently what Stockfish wants. And I don't know what the point of this is, but if you take this way, wow, look at this. Beautiful. Bishop d4. Probably going to lead to some crazy checkmate. Yeah, you're just hunting the king. The knight's coming in, or the queen's going back. Anyway, Stockfish basically was saying, look, this is what's going to happen. You're going to want your rook on e1 rather than your pawn on a4, right? Now, I totally missed knight d7. That's why I was thinking I had time to push my pawn, and I didn't realize that black actually did have a threat. So that was my mistake, okay? Going back to the game. Sorry, this is not the game. Back to the game, a4, knight d7. Okay, that was still a brilliant move. Even though I totally missed this, Stockfish says it's still good for me because even now, this is so powerful, right? Because black's pieces are just so poorly placed. We had time to do this. Okay, interesting. I didn't realize this was still going to be good for me, but apparently it was. And then here we did this, and then, yeah, black kind of fell apart. All right. Interesting game. Let's go to the next one. All right, we got the black pieces finally. D4. I'm going to play knight f6. And against c4, let's just keep it simple. We'll just play e6. Maybe we'll play a Nimzo-Indian. Yeah, let's play a Nimzo-Indian. I don't really know lots of theory, but it's relatively straightforward. You bring out the bishop. In a case like this, you're going to trade it. And notice this e4 square. Like, we now can take advantage of that. So I'll play b6, probably try to be in Cheeto this guy here. Okay, and control this square. Now, I don't like this, so what I'm going to do is play h6. I'm forcing white to make a decision. Yeah, if they didn't take me, I was going to play g5 and then jump my knight in. But if they take me, I'm happy now my queen comes out to a nice square, and nothing wrong with that. Okay. So probably, let's see, we could just castle. We could play d6 and put our knight here. Let's go ahead and just castle. I think castling is a smart thing. Yeah, and I think, yeah, we'll just play d6. We'll just make a square for my knight to go to. And actually, I might even just play e5 here. Now, why would I rush to play this move e5? It's because if I allow this, it opens everything up for white's pieces. Now, I guess you could make an argument that that's not a big deal. So maybe I do have time to do this. Win a pawn. Actually, that's fine. So I will play knight d7. But I want to keep an eye on this move. And actually, I feel like e5 would just shut down this bishop completely. Because the pawn's going to be in the way. And we're going to see that anyway. Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm pausing here is because we kind of have a pretty big decision on, do we want to lock up the center, okay, or do we want to open up the center? Now, normally, if your opponent's not castled and you are opening up the center is good. However, in this case, it does also open up white's bishop and shuts down my bishop. However, I am going to be able to throw in a check unless they take this way, in which case I could still go here. They're going to castle. I could play knight c5. I'm getting a lot of pressure on the center, so I think that makes sense to take. Probably nothing wrong with pushing, but since the king is still there, just following kind of the general principle of let's just go ahead and open it up if we can. They do take that way. Okay, let's swing this rook over. And now we're threatening here. Notice the pin. Okay, so they're going to castle for sure. I can tell you they're going to castle. And then it's a question of how do we want to proceed. Oh, they played king f1. Okay, I don't know if that was a mouse slip or if they are intentionally wanting to like use this rook somehow to launch these pawns, but that seems like a very questionable move. I have to believe it was probably a mouse slip. Okay. Yeah, that's actually very good for me. This is not good for the king. So how do we take advantage of it? Well, knight c5 looks really good. We're threatening here. We're threatening here. If I can take this, look at this. Look at that, especially with the king on f1. You guys see that? Now, it's not defended, but I could play a5 and use the rook. So a5, threatening here, bishop a6 is an idea. Just something like queen f4 and just trying to take this pawn is an idea. I mean, I don't know, maybe c6 just to undermine the center is an idea to open up the bishop as well. So lots of ideas here. Let's see what white's going to do. I mean, white's been playing super fast, so that's why I'm not sure if they were just moving too quickly and mouse slipped this or what, but that just seems like a terrible move, really. And the reason I moved this rook instead of the other rook is because I could see clearly that this rook is not going to do anything here unless I was planning on playing f5. That would be the only reason I would leave it here. This rook, we've already seen one use case, right, where this pawn pushes and it comes over here. But I also might want to bring it to the C or the D square, and if we open it up, maybe it's involved here or here, right? Those are the things you want to think about. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play a5, set the trap. Not really a trap, I guess, because technically after the trade, there's this move c4. But it still looks very unpleasant for white. But we're going to go ahead and set it up here. Okay, we're going to set it up. Look at this. Now we have this check. This just looks extremely unpleasant for white. Let me go ahead, pin it. So let's just start with the obvious check. I think they're just probably going to drop back. I don't know if I have a good move there. I'd love to be able to attack this pawn. So I guess I could go check when they block, go queen a2. That looks unpleasant. I mean, the other plan might just be a simple like rook up, rook over, just to double up on the weak point. Queen b2. I'm not sure why. Just to keep that check in my pocket if I need it, and I'll go here. I mean, I assume if I go with the check here, they're just going to play 92, and I don't know what my follow-up is going to be. That's why I'm hesitating on that plan at the moment. Okay. Yeah, just because I just don't quite see what my plan is going to be, I'm just going to go with this move. This just definitely seems like the best place for my rooks to be right now. So I'm going to go with that g4 to move. Okay, let's just bring the rook over, piling on here. And it looks like they're just giving me the pawn for free. Yeah, so I think we just take it. I mean, I don't really know what white is doing at this point. Okay. We have a check. Do we have a tactic here? Let's think about this. Queen f4. Maybe take. Looks pretty good. You know what else I could do? I could go check. Ah, but they have rook e1. Actually, no. Check and then queen here. Threatening that is a very serious threat. Okay, let's do that. Here's what I'm thinking, guys. If I can get my queen to create a threat, then I can play f6 and defend. Then they've given up that pawn for like no reason. So let's do it. Let's go with the check. They're probably going to play rook e1. I guess king g2 is a move. I didn't think about that. But still, queen a2, like a pretty decent threat. No, they go king e2. Wow. That just looks... Something just doesn't seem right about this. Let's see. Yeah, we can't take this. It's defended. I guess we just go check. I guess we just go check. They do block and save the pawn. But, like I said, now I can play f6. Defend. Also gives my king a place to run to if I need it. You go for h4. Okay. Of course, if we take, we have to worry about the rook. Now, I'm wondering if I can play g5 and just sort of block everything off with my pawns. Yeah, let's do that. Just block it all off with the pawns. Because here's the thing. White's king is not totally safe either, right? So, yes, my king is a little bit exposed now because of the open files, but so is white's king. And they have to pretty much keep these pieces here just to defend all my threats, right? Let's see. I'm almost wondering if I can sack my bishop, trade this, take here. White's only going to have 3 pawns left. 3, 6. I have 7 pawns. And I wonder if I even get another pawn out of the deal. Looks like I'm going to win the f pawn too, potentially. Maybe not. Maybe not. So I don't know if I quite need to sack that. The reason I'm thinking of it, though, is because I don't see what else to do. And rather than sit here and waste my time. I kind of feel like now might be the moment. Go into an endgame that I'm pretty sure I can win with all the pawns. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, guys. Could be missing something here, but sometimes like the best practical thing is to keep the time situation in the back of your mind. That's what I'm doing, and so I am going to make this trade. Okay, and I think I have enough pawns that I'll probably be able to win this endgame. At least that's what it looks like. Because now we have triple fork. I think we even get another pawn here. Yep, there you go. So this is a lot of pawns. Going to be very difficult for the knight to stop these guys. G5, H3, G4, something like this. Okay. Go ahead and push it. Notice if you can keep them connected in a pawn chain, that's the best because they're defended. Yeah, and I'm actually happy to trade the rooks. I think the knight is going to have an extremely tough time stopping all these pawns. I actually want to keep my king relatively close to the pawns so that it can defend them. So let's come up. And he's going to try to make a blockade here, but the problem is now this pawn's going to push, right? And you have to keep an eye on that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, and you have to keep an eye on this. And the problem is White's just not going to be able to stop all the pawns. You're going to see. Right, he's going to go here probably. Oh, now he decides to move the knight back, but now it lets me push this one. There's always going to be a pawn that pushes, like over here, right? And this is the problem for White. Okay, let's just defend that. Just keep them tied up, right? You have to kind of guard this with one piece. Now you have to guard this with another piece, right? Too much. My king can come here. Okay, so I'll push to make sure the knight can't take me, because now the knight is stuck guarding this. It's going to take forever for the king to come around and take that. In the meantime, I'm going to get a queen, and yeah, white can't survive here. And there you go. They do resign. Interesting game. Let's take a look at that. See what Stockfish would have done, because that one, I wasn't actually sure on some of those moments. So let's take a quick look here. Okay, 84. Yeah, so definitely some mistakes in this game. Kind of a weird opening. Okay. Yeah, so Stockfish actually wanted me to play Queen G6 right away, which is very fascinating because I would have been worried about this. Stockfish wants F5. Then take here. And just take the knight. Yeah, so basically what Stockfish is saying is by putting the queen on G6, you really cause a problem for White because now they have to deal with multiple things. And even though you can't take this immediately because of this King E2 move, which apparently is really good for White because now you're threatening this. If you play F5 first and now take it, there is no King E2. Okay, because your bishop just comes crashing in or your queen or whatever. Very interesting approach from Stockfish there. So I wasn't really thinking about this idea. Okay, but that's what Stockfish said. That being said, I think we got into a great position. Now, Stockfish would have actually played E5. Interesting. So, locking it up, and I assume the idea is that, well, let's see, you're going to attack the bishop. Okay, fine. Let's just say White does some random move. It wants to relocate the bishop. Yeah, it's going to play the long positional game, and nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. It just felt like the more logical move was to take here and put the rook on the file. And then, let's see. Why was that a blunder? Did I miss something here? Oh, interesting. Stockfish wants C6. Just kind of immediately busting open to unleash that bishop. Rather than trying to sneak around the side like I was, it says, no, just play C6. Keep it right here, right on the center. That's the way to go. So, interesting approach there as well. So, yeah, pretty interesting game. And then I want to see this moment again. The C6 move. What's the point now? Wow. C6 so that you can play D5. Of course, they can't take this way. But if they take this way, what's the idea? Now you go for the check. And if they try to block, oh, wow. You take and you attack, and white's in trouble. Because if they try to defend with the queen, you come crashing through here with the bishop. This leads to a quick checkmate. Wow, look at Stockfish is just so good. Stockfish is so good. Okay, so let's just recap that, because that's kind of instructive, actually. So we have this position. Okay, what's good about our position? Well, our king is safe. Our rooks are in a nice position. They're connected. They're where they need to be. The queen is active. The bishop is active. What's bad about white's position? Well, this king f1, right? The rook is stuck on the wrong side of the king. That's a big deal. It's like you're playing without a rook. You've got kind of like 3 pieces. It's 4 pieces. But the way it's set up right now, I can't take advantage of that. So Stockfish says, no problem. We'll play c6 and just bust everything open. And if you try to take me, no problem. I'm busting it open whether you like it or not. And then my queen comes in, and then I trade, and then all of a sudden, all my pieces are attacking the king. And again, you never got to use your rook, right? And if they would have taken here with the queen, what's the move here? Boom. Again, my rooks now are able to invade, attack the king. So really, really nice idea. And I don't know why I didn't even think about that, but that's very, very smart. Okay. Our plan was just way too slow, right? And we just gave white time to do whatever they wanted. I think if they would have just played like, I was going to say king g2 might have been a better move, but Stockfish says it's h3. Yeah, it's getting a little complicated. But let's keep going. I want to see this moment. So instead of sacking the bishop like I did, Stockfish would have played b5? What? Followed by bishop b7? Followed by h3. I mean, I don't even know what's going on. Sometimes you can't understand Stockfish. This is one of those times. It didn't like my move. It didn't like my move at all, actually. That's because white messed up. If white would have held on to this pawn, king f3 is the way. You just defend everything. Can't take you because of my rook is here. So yeah, okay. Interesting game. Let me see what time. Yeah, I have time for like one more game. So let's just jump into the next game. Pretty complicated though, that one was. We're 1950. Halfway to 2000. Playing against a 1960. All right, I always play d5, but let's play e5 for just to mix it up here. Get a pawn in the center. Probably defend it with the knight. Are they losing connection? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, they're back. Okay, knight c3. Yeah, so we're going to go knight f6. I usually like to counter this. Okay. This one is where we sack. All right? We sack the knight. The idea is that when they take back, we play d5, and we hit them with the fork. Now, if white really knows their opening theory, they might play queen h5, which would be the Frankenstein Dracula variation. Extremely interesting stuff. I would love to see that. I think that would make for a really interesting game. So let's just hope that we see queen h5. You guys can cross your fingers if you're watching this. Let's see. Queen h5. Come on. Let's keep it interesting, my friend. Let's keep it interesting. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. They're thinking too long. If they were going to play it, I think they would play it right away. I don't think they're going to play it. Unfortunately. Probably going to take here on or something. So they can take here. You get a fork. You get your piece back. That's a pretty good position. What a lot of people do is take here thinking they've exposed your king. But in reality, they've given up one of their best attacking pieces, that light-squared bishop. We now have the bishop pair. And we get to follow it up with d5 and kick their knight around. And our king really isn't in that much danger. It's actually not. So, yeah, we'll see. That's kind of instructive too. But queen h5 is the really interesting line, Frankenstein Dracula variation, because they're just like, I don't even care about this knight. I'm just going to checkmate you, right? And then it's like you go here, they move their bishop back, and then they're going to play knight b5 and take you and checkmate you again. And it's super interesting. I don't know. This person is like gone, I guess. Too bad. Too bad. I wish more people played the Frankenstein Dracula. It's so much fun. Yeah, they just go for the normal fork. So Probably going to bring their bishop back here. We get our piece back. It's pretty good position for black. Yeah, this doesn't really make as much sense because now you don't keep the bishop. We get the bishop pair. And, okay, there's a cheapo tactic, right? Cheapo tactic check. We take, we lose our queen. But that's easy enough to deal with, right? We just have to defend our queen. So probably just bishop e6 is the move. Yeah. Have to make sure it's defended so that after this happens, you know, you can always recapture. Okay? So they go back. They want to trade, and I think that's totally fine. I'll just trade it. I'll play knight c6 to defend. And what have we accomplished from the opening? Well, we have the bishop pair. That's a plus for us. We're basically equal on development. Actually, you could even say we're ahead because now I'm going to get to castle, which is kind of like a developing move. So I'm sort of the one leading the development here, 3-2. And I have a more powerful centralized pawn. If you compare this pawn to my pawn, mine is better. So a bunch of small things, but a slight advantage coming out of the opening for us, which is great. All right, can we take advantage of this weakness? Let's see what happens if I just attack. I guess, huh? Guess we lose a pawn here, so maybe I should defend that. Bishop c5. Yeah, I'm going to defend. It also keeps any pieces out of here, harassing my bishop. Solidifies this. Maybe I'm threatening to go after the weak pawn. Okay, they do stop that. I'm going to go bishop c5, and I might play a6 to keep my bishop here. No, they're going to attack me. All right. Of course, nothing wrong with trading. Nothing wrong with going back here and letting them trade. I'm potentially leaning towards jumping in with my knight. Because you can't take this way because I get a fork. You, again, would have to give up another bishop if you want to take that. Yeah, which would leave us with 2 bishops against 2 knights. And then you would really get to see, I think, the power of the bishop pair. So we'll see if they're going to go for that. They are. Okay. I'm pausing because I could also take with this. Keep my beautiful little pawn structure here. But I think I should try to demonstrate. I think that'll be very instructive to see the bishops against the knights. So let's do it this way. Okay? Let's do it this way. Let's drop back here for now. I don't want to go here and have too many pieces in line, you know, in the fire of a rook. I think we just defend. So we go here. And if the position opens up a little bit, for example, they play c3 and we trade this off or something, you know, these bishops are going to be extremely powerful, just kind of crisscrossing across the board. So let's just keep an eye on that and see if we can make use of these powerful bishops, okay? Like, do I want to play a5 here? Bishop d5, so we can potentially mess up the pawn structure there. And bishop d5 looks pretty good. Let me go bishop d5 for now. It also opens up the rook. I like that. But it looks like white was maybe trying to jump in. So now if you do that, I can really mess up the pawn structure. Okay, so they go back. Yeah, so how do we do this? Maybe a5 to try to open things up. Let's play a5. The more pawns that we trade, the more diagonals that open up. Probably stronger the bishops become. We'll see. Right now, it's pretty closed off. So you're not really seeing the power of the bishops just yet. Okay, so we do have the option to mess up the pawn structure. And create this weak pawn on c5, which is not a terrible idea. This bishop is not awesome right now anyway, so I kind of think that makes sense. Yes, we don't have the bishop pair anymore, but still, very nice target for us. I think we should do that. I'm going to take it. I'm going to drop back. And the reason I'm going to drop back, actually, I could drop back here. I could drop back here. Yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm trying to get this moving, right? And attack the weak pawn. Okay. The other way I could attack it would be with my king. That doesn't look crazy either. Then we can keep the rooks putting the pressure here. Okay, I kind of like that. Get the king on c6. So let's do that instead. Try to do that. Ah, there's knight b3 though. Hold up. Knight b3 is kind of annoying. Okay, I didn't see that. They don't play it. Let's go king c6. Oh, we're just targeting the weak pawn. Okay, they defend it. Maybe we just attack the knight. Right? I mean, I don't see why not. Threatening to trade and win a pawn. Although there is this, so it's not that simple. Let's see. Takes. Yeah, it's not quite that simple. Okay, I think they blundered, guys. I think they blundered. Can you figure out why? Why did they just blunder? Well, hopefully you noticed this. It wasn't a pin before because the rook was defended, but now it's a pin. Whenever you have a pinned piece, what do? Right? You attack it. You just attack it, and now that it has to move, white has a problem because you can't move it. Means I'm getting a free knight. I'm going to be able to take it with the pawn. So they blundered, trying to hold on to this, and they forgot about something else that was going on. I think they were fine. I don't think they had to worry about it because they had the threat here. I think they could have just left that alone, and I wouldn't have been able to take it. But now they're just losing a piece. Okay, so of course, we could take it now. We don't have to take it immediately. We could do something else first, but I feel like why not? Although I say that, I could play b6 now. Otherwise, I am losing this pawn. That's not a big deal, I don't think. Although, hold up. Check. You just want to make sure, what you want to make sure is that there's no tricks that allow them to save their knight. If you're not going to take it, you're going to get fancy. You have to make sure they have no tricks that let them save their knight. I don't think they have any tricks. But yeah, you know what? I'll just take it. I don't think this is a big deal. Because if they go there, I could probably just do something. I don't know what, but I think we're fine. I think we're fine, guys. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to go here. And the reason is I want to put my bishop on c6 to pressure this pawn. I'm also taking advantage of this pin, okay? And now I will drop it back here. Of course, if they check me on the 7th, we just block. So I'll just... Really, that's kind of annoying. Maybe I should stop it. Okay, let's go stop the rook. Now I'm threatening to go here and win this pawn. Yep, let's go ahead. They're going to have to take me now. And they won't be able to save this pawn. Okay, so you see how I'm doing that? Of course, trading is great because we're up the extra bishop. Life is super easy now. The juicer just takes everything. The juicer starts juicing the pawns, basically, is what's happening here. Yeah, they can play on, but it's just real easy for me. It's just real easy. Go back. We take this. And then we push. We just push. We can come in here. Get ready to push it again. And it's over very soon. Okay, I think we can do a... Can we do a cool checkmate here? All depends where the king's going to go. Ah, they're going to run out. All right, we were going to be able to do a cool checkmate, but... Okay. All right. Good game. Good game. Check the game review. Okay, 87, so not too bad. Never were really in trouble. And I'll show you briefly, I guess, what I was hoping for. So Frankenstein Dracula, super fun opening. It's not played a lot. Queen h5. Okay, we can't take the knight because we get checkmated. All right, so that's the big deal. That's the threat. So what do? Well, we go back here. We defend. And we attack the bishop at the same time. Now, if white really wants to, they could play this boring move where we trade queens, and it's just like a super boring position. I mean, look at it. It's equal. It's boring. It's nothing's happening. Okay. But if they want some excitement, they will go bishop to b3. And this is where it gets really fun. Okay. So we play knight c6. I guess there's different moves, but the main line that I'm thinking of is knight c6. And now white goes for a sneaky move, knight to b5. The sneaky move, because remember, this knight is stopping the checkmate. Okay. So if we take the knight, they say, thank you very much. Game over. It's a 4-move checkmate on move 7, essentially. And it's also a big deal because they're threatening here with check. So if we think, well, let me go here and castle. No, you can't do that. They take you with check. And again, you get mated. Okay. You got to be really, really careful if you're going to play this line. You have to know what you're doing, right? Okay. So we stop the queen. We play g6. White says, you know what? I'm going to checkmate you anyway. Queen f3. We say no. Same deal, right? They're threatening to take here, and then we lose our defender. So what do? Again, we block the queen. And again, white's like, no, this is for real. Like, I don't mean, I'm not messing around. Like, I mean business. You're getting checkmated here. Same deal, right? Same exact thing, except the queen's coming from a different angle. Okay. So now you have a decision as black to play queen e7 or queen f6. And notice both of those moves stop the checkmate as they defend the square. You also should notice something else about those moves. What do you notice about those moves? Let's just choose queen e7. It doesn't really matter. I don't remember the significance between the differences here. What do you notice about this move and this move? Oh, we've just got forked. Oops. Okay. Oops. That's part of the deal. Why? Because now we play b6. We play bishop b7. We're going to get this knight. So this knight is essentially trapped. So we do get a knight for the rook. But look at who has the center. Well, that would be us. Look at who has a lead in development. Well, that would be us. We have this. We're going to get this with the tempo. The queen sometimes actually gets trapped in this line, right? The queen is getting attacked. And we jump our knight, and the queen can get trapped in some cases. And we go here. We bring our rook. I mean, it's just like a lot of fun to play. You get to attack as black. And white tries to hold on, and it's really interesting, I think. Some of these games are just super fun to watch. So that's the Frankenstein Dracula. That's what I was hoping to see. If they take you here, you just take. The other thing I was going to say is if they decide to sack here, it looks scary, but really it's not a big deal. You play d5, you're happy. I mean, if they try to do some shenanigans, you just play g6. They try to take you, you can just go, let's see, what's the best move? Bishop h6. This is one I actually haven't looked at in a while. And the idea is you defend. You're still hitting the knight. If the knight tries to move somewhere, you've stopped knight g5 check. And you're threatening rook e8. And I guess white's just in trouble. Basically, you save your knight. Thank you very much. I'll take your queen. So just an example, right? Of like bishop takes f7. It's not really a dangerous move. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. We are 1958. I hope you learned something. As always, I'll see you next. Oh, don't forget, just subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. I like never ask people to do that. But I think YouTube actually appreciates that. Write a comment. You know, all the stuff. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks.